I think a lot of men could apply this, solving problems like an engineer, especially when we're talking about AI and how to use it to augment our lives. Put knowledge in your brain or put money in your pocket, right? So it's like, if we think about most guys in general, we overcomplicate almost everything, right? Every problem probably feels like it needs some complex solution, or at least you're looking for a complex answer to a simple problem. For example, like my relationship was struggling. I'd read books about communication styles, or if my budget was tight, I'll download like 5 different apps and create, spreadsheets to try to track everything. Or if I had low energy, I start researching supplements and like what I'm missing, vitamins or minerals, and, sleep cycles and fucking morning routines. And all this complexity was just me avoiding what the actual problem was, right? And then I learned how engineers actually approach problems, right? They don't start with solutions, they start with the fundamentals. They ask, what is this really about? Instead of, what can I do about this? That's called first principle thinking. It's the difference between building a solution and just throwing fixes at symptoms, right? So in practice, it works kind of like this. Instead of asking the usual, how do I fix this problem? You ask, what is it actually made of? Like, say you're always tired. That's a great example. Most people feel tired in the morning and they'll blame a lot of things and think that'll be the solution. And we jump straight there, right? We need a alarm clock, different mattress, too much fucking caffeine, you change your morning routine. But first principles thinking breaks this down differently. Okay. What does tired actually mean? Is it physical fatigue? Are you mentally exhausted or just bored? And when actually does this happen? What are the basic requirements for human energy, right? We need sleep, we need nutrition, movement, purpose. What is it? Ask this question. What do you think it is? And then once you strip away everything complex about being tired, you'll usually find one or two fundamental issues. Maybe you're not sleeping enough, or maybe you're eating garbage. Maybe you have a soul-crushing job, right? It's a simple problem, and they have simple solutions as well. The reason most guys stay stuck is that they're trying to optimize before they understand what they're optimizing for, right? This approach works because it forces you to get honest about what's actually happening instead of what you think should be happening. So your relationship isn't struggling, for example, because you need better communication techniques. It's struggling because you stopped doing the basic things that build connection, right? Talking to each other, spending time together, showing appreciation. The fundamentals got lost under all the complexity, right? Your money problems, they're not solved by fucking budgeting apps. They're solved by earning more or spending less. Everything else is just accounting. And your fitness plateau isn't because you need a new workout problem. It's because you stopped progressively overloading your muscles, or you're just not eating enough protein, right? The basics stop working because you stopped doing them consistently. So most problems are simple problems disguised as complex ones. And then here's the process that I'm using now, basically. First, I'll write down the problem as specific as possible, okay? Don't do something like, I'm unhappy at work. Maybe it'll be like this. I feel anxious every Sunday night and I dread Monday mornings, right? Because if you have vague problems, then it leads to vague solutions. Then I'll ask something like, what are the basic components of this issue? What does this thing actually require to function properly? If I were building this from scratch, what would be the minimum viable elements, right? Simplify everything. For the work example, it'd be something like, what are the basic requirements for job satisfaction? Yeah. Or what would you say? Probably fair compensation. I'm not getting paid enough, right? Or work that uses your skills, reasonable hours. You're getting overworked to death. People you don't hate being around. That's it. Those are your actual answers. Now I'll be able to see clearly what's missing instead of getting lost in like career advice and productivity hacks, because those, it's the same thing we used as the example before. I hate my job. Oh, I just got to become more productive. That's not that. You're just trying to find a solution first. This is why we say first principles. Get down to the fundamentals. I hate my job. Why? Because it pays like shit. Because the people I work with. Because my boss is riding my ass. That's the actual issue, the problem you have to solve, right? Because the power in this kind of approach isn't just solving a problem faster. It's seeing through the noise that keeps most guys spinning their fucking wheels going nowhere. The fitness industry will want you to believe that getting in shape requires some fucking complex workout splits, precise macro tracking, and expensive supplements. But the fundamentals are fucking simple, dude. Lift heavy things regularly, eat adequate protein, and what? Get some fucking sleep. That's it. Everything else is just optimization. It doesn't matter until you master the basics. What do you need supplements for if you're not even eating clean for months on end, right? If you're not even showing up in the gym every single day, if you're halfway on your phone, you don't even have intensity at your workouts. You think supplements will supplement the holes in your routine? This is first principles, right? The relationship advice industry is the same shit. They'll want you to believe that good relationships require constant communication about feelings, love languages, attachment styles, all that bullshit. But the fundamentals are simple, dude. Spend time together, be kind to each other, have sex regularly, handle money responsibly. You master those and most problems solve themselves. It's rocket science, right? It's crazy, right? The productivity world wants you to believe that getting things done requires elaborate systems and apps that you have to pay for and you have to subscribe to. No, dude, it's the fundamentals. Decide what matters, do it first, eliminate distractions. That's it. Once you start to think this way, you notice how much energy you've been wasting on solutions that don't address the fucking problem itself. Like that argument with your partner about housework, it's probably not about the dishes. It's about feeling respected and supported. Address that fundamental need and the surface issue disappears. All right, the stress about money. It's probably not about budgeting, bro. It's just about earning too little or spending too much. Fix the fundamental math. The anxiety will stop, or the frustration about your fitness. It's not about finding the perfect fucking workout. It's just consistency. Show up regularly, doing something basic, and you'll see more progress than guys jumping between complicated programs. Most of the time, the thing you think is the problem isn't the problem. The problem is usually something simpler you've been avoiding. And this doesn't mean that every solution has to be simple, but it does mean that you should start with the simplest version that could possibly work. You want to get stronger? Start with basic compound movements 3 times a week. You want to improve your relationship? Start with some daily check-ins or weekly date nights. Reignite the fire, right? You want to make more money? Start by asking for a raise or finding a better job. Simple problem, simple solution, right? Don't optimize until you've proven the fundamentals work. Don't add all this complexity until the simplicity stops working, right? The guys who get results aren't the ones with the most sophisticated systems. I'm telling you, their process is simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Remember the KISS method. There's a reason they kept telling us that, right? These guys are the ones who consistently do very basic things that actually matter. Like ask yourself, what problem are you overcomplicating right now in your life? What would it look like if you stripped it down to its most basic components? We'll leave that question with you guys. Like legitimate question. What do you think you're overcomplicating right now?
Well, for me, it would definitely be going to the gym consistently, trying to lose weight. I feel like you said, you know, I used to just watch all these workout videos. You have all these different apps.
Mm,
People are saying, they have science-based workouts. And some
mm,
people say do only calisthenics, carnivore diet, all these different things. But really, I remember he said it's just calories in, calories out.
simple. First
You
principles.
you know what I'm saying? You
Yep.
you you use more calories than you consume. Cause I watched Coach Greg or
Mm,
Greg Doucette a little bit, and that's pretty much what he said. He said later, he said first you have to prove to yourself, you have to show you can go to the gym consistently every single day, on even the days you don't want to go. I
yep.
think that for anybody trying to lose weight, that's probably our biggest hurdle is, like the one guy said, I think it's like a meme. He said, going to the gym hurts. It's painful. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
not exactly like that, but just going to the gym itself, it's like, you have to get used to the different equipments, the machines, doing cardio, and
Mm.
and trying to just make healthier food choices. And I guess over time, you learn what works for your body, and you get past that learning curve.
Yeah, this consistency, that's first principles thinking, very simply. Focus on just getting to the gym every single day. Optimize later. Hey, am I doing this workout correctly? Did I hit my full body split this week? None of that shit matters until you're able to just consistently get into the gym. As long as you're getting into the gym and you're trying and you're leaving with a good sweat and heart's racing and you gave it what you could, figure out the program later. Figure out the science backed exercise later. Figure that shit out later. Just get consistent. Get the energy output consistently there. That's first principles. It's very simple. What problem do I have? I'm overweight. Okay, how do I solve that? Stop eating as much. All right, and go to the gym. Great. Just stop eating as much and go to the gym. Further reduce it down. Why do I eat too much? Right? My problem is I eat too much, for example. Okay, why? Reduce it down because I don't meal prep. And when I'm hungry, and I want to eat something on the spot, I have nothing to eat, so I go get fast food. Great, we have the problem. It's completely. It's not like I need to go on a perfect diet. I need a meal plan. I'm fat because I don't have a perfect meal plan where my macros are perfectly set and I'm tracking and weighing my food. That's optimizing. That's not your solution, right? Your problem is simple. You eat too much, and the solution is I just need a meal prep so I don't break and go eat fast food. Then I'll figure out how to make the healthiest meal prep I can later. That's the engineering mindset. First principles thinking. Reduce it down to its simplest form, and it usually has a simple answer. That's it, guys. That's with everything in life. Whether you're trying to run a YouTube channel, whether you're trying to start up a side hustle, grow a business, get hired somewhere, get educated in some fashion, whatever it is, if you break it down to its simplest form, first principles, it has a solution that you could work towards. Optimize after the fundamentals have been proven. This will serve you very far in life and discard the rest. That's very important. Everything else is noise. It's all distraction. All of that, your brain, you're being paralyzed. Like when you said, I have to do science-based workouts, you're being paralyzed by so much information, so much useless information at this point that you're intaking, right? If you just focused your brain power on, okay, dude, I'm struggling to get to the gym every single day. Why? You have your answer. You already know why. And you can get to the gym every single day. Worry about that other shit later. As long as we're in there, it doesn't matter. You can be on the treadmill for 30 fucking minutes, another 30 minutes, some ass workout. You don't know what you're doing, but you did something. You do that for a week. All of a sudden, you're getting used to going there. You do it for a month. Now it's gotten really consistent. A couple months in, okay, you start to figure out, I like this workout more for biceps than this one. I prefer to do this for that for my back. This feels better. And you start to tune and tailor a workout. And before you know it, you're like a couple months in the gym and now you have optimized your workout plan. Instead, guys will be like fucking on their notes app, dude, with an entire, you know, like elite level workout program, like down to the rest periods and shit. I need to rest for 2 minutes here, and then I have to hit, I have to do chest, and then I have to do back, and then I have to rest and periodization there, and drop setting here. Calm the fuck down, bro. Calm down. Just go to the gym and get something done. Worry about that other shit later. It comes in time. Now, if you could apply this to every single kind of thinking you do in every realm that you're trying to pursue, this will save you so much time and anxiety and that paralysis that a lot of guys feel of not even starting because of the overwhelming amount of information.
So or what was your journey when you were going to the gym? Like when you started going, how long did it take for you to like, okay, okay, now I know exactly what I need to do?
Well, like everyone else, I just Googled some things and I was like, okay, what's a bro split, 5-day split? Okay, I'll follow the split. I had very basic stuff like, Monday's chest, Tuesday legs, so rest one day. Then another one is like shoulders and back, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'll just start there. And then you go to the gym and then you're like, okay, bench press. Cool. Let me just attempt to bench press and I'll start with 10 pounds and okay, I'm a little stronger than that, I can do a little more, and then you start to you figure it out as you go, and then eventually you build into a program. It took me, it doesn't take you that long, to be honest. It's like once you've been in the gym for a month consistently, you kind of already know where you're at strength wise, what your body can handle, and like what exercises you really like that felt really good, and then what exercises you didn't like that you might want to find a different alternative to, right? A different variation for the same muscle group. And then, within a few months, you have your routine that you like. And then you go to the gym and you start feeling good, doing the things you like to do. And then that's how you start progressing. But I almost made the same mistake of, well, actually I did with supplements. I don't know why this is burned in my brain. I was 6'2" in high school, soaking fucking wet, probably 160 pounds, did bean pull. And I remember I had my shitty little part-time job where I was making, I think, like a couple $100 every 2 weeks. And I spent all my money on supplements because I thought that was me optimizing. I thought like the difference between me and all these jack guys was like clearly supplements, bro. Clearly, I didn't have, pre-workout. I didn't have my protein shake and I didn't have my casein protein at night and, my weight gainer because I was so skinny, I needed to eat that. Instead of me thinking first principles was, you're skinny, you have a high metabolism. Why can't you gain weight? What's your problem? I don't eat enough. What's your problem? I don't eat enough whole food. That's what my problem was. I didn't solve the problem of me not eating enough protein, enough meat to put some mass on my body. So I tried to shortcut it with the solution. The solution, which only worked, or I would say, which would only make a difference in somebody that was already optimized and eating good in that, and maybe adding a protein shake, right? Maybe switching out a real meal with a protein shake to get more jacked, more shredded, or, pre workout to help you crush some heavy leg days, yada, yada. That would have worked for somebody that's optimized. That could have had a difference, right? The return on that is already very small because you're optimizing. The returns on those are smaller than just the fundamentals. The fundamentals get you the biggest difference, the biggest gains. As long as you can handle going to the gym, like you said, consistently, figuring out your way from there, that gets you the body you want. The optimizing part, don't even worry about it. So I would say like probably it took me a lot longer than it should have. I would say a full 2 years to really figure out what the fuck I was doing. And why? Because again, I didn't apply first principles thinking. So, okay, I'm skinny. Okay, didn't eat more. Okay, I'm weak. How do I get stronger? Ego lift. Yeah, clearly I could just throw the weight up and use momentum. Every single problem I had, I looked for a solution. You have to stop. It's this line of thinking that you have to stop. So even when your brain went there on accident, well, how long it take you to get good? Get used to the gym. Also irrelevant, right? Irrelevant. We have one singular issue: getting to the gym every single day. That's all your focus needs to be on. You're already looking for a little answer, a nugget in your head of, okay, how long should I expect to really become acclimated with the gym? Who cares? It's irrelevant. The answer could be 1 week, could be 3 months, but we'll never know if you don't figure out a way to get there every single day. If you don't figure out why you're not getting there every single day, everything else is just noise. So it's like reduce the thinking down, simplify it. What's my problem? I don't go to the gym every day. Okay, why? You have your reason. You know the real reason. Address the problem and then go to the gym every day. And then you keep addressing other problems that come up. And then you keep handling them in their simplest forms. And that's it, dude. If you do that, your life will change, guys. I swear to you. This is something I wish everybody got taught in school, is that thinking style directly affects your success in life.